Hello, I'm coming on here tonight and I know it's late, but I'm going to give you 5 signs that God is warning you to let that thing go. Whatever thing you're holding on to because it's familiar or because that you just don't want to let it go. The number one sign is you have to ask yourself, do you want it because it's good for you or is it just familiar to you? A lot of things are familiar to us and we have a habit of holding on to it because we're comfortable holding on to it. When God is pretty much trying to take it away from you, like that Tyler Perry movie said on the diary, of a mad black woman. She was holding on to her husband probably because it's familiar, it was comfortable to her, but God sometimes tries to take it out of your hands, and we try to fight God when God's pretty much trying to protect us. The number two thing is God will have different people say the same thing. The message is always the same when it comes to God, when He's warning you about something and to let it go. And then you'll come across, you hear something randomly on TV. You hear from your mother, you hear from your sister, you hear from people on the outside. And because they're looking at you suffering, really. And some things are perception and how we receive things. And some things, excuse me for a second. Sorry, some things are perception and how we receive things. Some things are just literally what it is. Bad for you. Number three, you'll see it when it's over, you'll know. And then sometimes you feel like you have to stay out of obligation or you have to stay out of it being familiar or you've been there for so long. It could be a job that you've been on for a long time, but you know God's telling you to take the next step and go to school and, let it go. Sorry, my mouth is dry. Let it go and go to school. And you want to stay there because you've been there for so long, but you know God's telling you to let it go. And people will change or they'll start acting different. And pretty much it's God telling you to let it go. Number four, you'll find yourself forcing you'll find that you'll be forcing yourself to go into those habits. Like you're so familiar with not working out or working out or whatever, and sometimes it's good for you, sometimes it's not. But you're so familiar with doing it or used to doing it that you're forcing yourself to do it. And it's like, wait a minute, I don't want to do this anymore. Why am I forcing myself to eat this? Or why am I forcing myself to watch this? Or why am I forcing myself to, I don't know, be in a relationship with this person or have a friendship with this person or whatever the situation may be, or you know what I mean, you're forcing yourself to do it when you know that it's something that you should not be doing. And the fifth and final thing is that it's hurting you to stay in that situation, and you are staying in a situation because you feel like you're going to miss something, or that person's going to change, or you feel like you're the one that can change that person, or like I said before, obligation or whatever. And I think that nobody's obligated to stay in any situation that they don't want to be in or that's hurting them, because a lot of things can hurt you mentally and you don't even realize how it's affecting you physically. The next thing you know, you're snappy and irritable. You don't know why, but it's because God is telling you to let whatever that you have in your life that's not good for you go. I'm going to end off by talking about Ecclesiastes 4, verse 13. A poor yet wise youth is better than an old and foolish king who no longer knows how to receive instruction and counsel, friendly reproof, warning. God warns us silently. He doesn't always be like, hey, watch out for that big old truck coming. No, you'll feel a very subtle feeling in your spirit sometimes, and He's not always really loud. Sometimes He's loud, sometimes He's not. Most of the time, God speaks to us in a very soft voice. So you have to be in a right place with God to let your spirit be able to hear what God is saying to you. And I definitely heard loud and clear today that God was pretty much telling me that there's some things in my life that I have to let go and that are not good for me. And I know that I cannot name one of them. One of them is some of the food that I eat. I have found myself forcing myself to eat chips after I haven't eaten chips in weeks. And I'm just like, what am I doing eating chips? Why am I buying chips when I know that chips is what got me in this mess in the first place? Or candy is what got me in this mess in the first place. I bought a big old bag of Lifesavers a few weeks ago, and they're still up there in the cabinet. I don't know why I bought that. That's not good for me. And I did share that bag. That bag was like a $7 bag, and it's huge. But see, you'll find yourself forcing yourself into repeating old habits, and you realize I'm not the same person because I've grown mentally and spiritually. So the flesh is under subjection to your obedience. When you obey God, the flesh has to obey the spirit that lives inside of you. And then when you're in a space where you have a habit of doing those bad things, you want to, like, pretty much you're forcing your flesh back into that sin, and you're just like, wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm past this stage now. It don't even feel the same. The food don't even taste the same. The chips don't taste the same anymore, you know? So I just came on here to say that real quick and share that with you guys and let you guys know that um, it's not too late to get out of the situation that you're in that is causing you to, do one of these 5 things that I mentioned. I don't think that God is going to send you to hell for it. But he does warn us. Warning comes before destruction. And I think that because it does, that means that God loves us to warn us and let us know that this situation is not good for you. And sometimes we don't listen and then he lets it hurt us and we learn the hard way. So I'm not trying to be hurt. So whatever situation that I'm in, I'm letting it go. I'm not with that no more. So I just thought I'd say that to you guys real quick. Have a good night. Bye.